I know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. It's frightening. Turns the legs to jelly. I ask you, to what end? Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Welcome to the People's Podcast. I'm sorry, I'm struggle streaming already. Soon as I went live, friggin' StreamYard reset on me. So anyway, welcome to the People's Podcast. We're back with another live stream here on YouTube, simulcast, and also on Van Johnson Facebook, on V Speaks Facebook. It is April 23rd, 2024, people. A couple of minutes after the top of the hour, 11 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, here in the QC. Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, y'all. Hope y'all doing well. Beautiful day today. It's supposed to be beautiful for the next 10 days, actually. Hope everybody is doing well. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Israel. On your way in the door, please hit the like button, subscribe, smash the bell, and share to your socials. Share the fake book, y'all. Hit the Cash App. Send $2 to the Pure Leaf Tea Fund. It's for a good cause. Keep your brother hydrated on these streams. And make sure you're well strapped in with me. Seatbelt light is on. Maybe later you'll be free to move about the cabin. We'll see. We'll see if we get any turbulence, but we'll see how that plays out. That light may come on. Just check with your attendants. They'll be in the chat. You'll see the attendants in the chat. But I'm glad to have everybody here. Glad to have everybody here. Baby. It's been interesting. That's what I can say. It's the evil world we live in, man. It's the evil world we live in. But we're going to talk a little bit, get back to regularly scheduled activities. So this is a topic I've been meaning to cover for a little while. Got a little off topic last couple streams. Try to get back on topic. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence, right? That's a word that is thrown around a lot lately. Like many other words, you know, I've said this has happened a lot since WebMD became a thing and people started self-diagnosing themselves without really understanding what words mean, what the concepts mean, and things get taken out of place and weaponized, so to speak, and we don't know what they mean, and they're used incorrectly oftentimes. Bipolar was one of the first ones, and then came narcissist, you know, and then came from the alphabet community, partner, right? They try to steal that terminology from business, and you know, at a time when they weren't able to get married, so they would, this is my life partner, right? And then it just got shortened to just partner. Then other groups started adopting partner because we're in this woke culture, and you know, woke culture, they develop these beliefs and they get offended when you question or put them to the tests on what they say they believe in, and they get angry and all of that kind of stuff. Wokeism, you know, which kind of stemmed from some of the other isms of earlier time. Pan-Africanism and all of those isms of the sort. But we're going to talk about the EQ. And no, we're not talking about your stereo system, people. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. That's what we're going to talk about today. So we'll get into that in a little bit. And I just thought about something. I think I jumped the gun a little bit. I did. No problem. I can catch up real quick. want. So I hear a lot of ladies, they want a man, they want this, you know, that kind of thing. They want a relationship, they want, you know. So I try to give tips to help you. One of those things, you got to get out, man. Got to get out in that sunshine, get you some vitamin D, let them sun rays hit your skin. Um, you know, some of y'all been bottled up all winter, really hadn't been outside. You need some vitamin D. You need, and I mean sunshine. You know, just go out, put a little sundress on, go out, spend some time outside. I don't care if it's just taking a chair and sitting outside of your house or on your patio, or, you know, if you're in an apartment building or something like that. It doesn't have to be an event. Just make it part of your normal course a day. Go get lunch and sit outside. A lot of places have outdoor eating. Chipotle, for example, usually you can eat outside, is a good place. Get you a little, you know, salad bowl. Sit outside, have your lunch, just soak in some sun. You know, go for a walk in the park on your day off with your sundress on. You know, just get out. That way, someone can see you. Someone can see you. So make sure y'all are just doing basics. You know, I talk about that all the time. Professionals, they always practice the basics, the fundamentals. You know, basketball players practice layups, you know, that kind of thing. Just basics over and over and over again, you know. And I think we kind of abandon our basics, you know. Um, Women in the past were smaller as far as weight. They were less weight on average. They didn't go to the gym. They weren't doing all of these strange diets. They were just doing normal everyday activities. Start a garden. And you don't have to have space. You don't have to have a backyard. Get you a 5-pound pail, put some soil in it, and plant some seeds. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos on this topic. It's a great little hobby, or get some kind of hobby, something to get you outside once a week. Okay. Excuse me. I don't care what you're doing. You're selling candles. Go outside. Sell your candles outside. Set up a little stand. You don't have to go to a flea market or go to some event. You can do it right outside, wherever you live. Set up a little table and tent. Put your merchandise out there and start selling. Get yourself outside, people. And I just use candles. I was just thinking, you know, I know a lot of you like candles, you know, and I know a lot of ladies make candles. Get outside. Just get outside. Instead of spending so much time listening to a lot of goofy advice from goofy people who it's all theoretical. They've never put it to work. You know, they never really put it to work. It's all theoretical. Get outside. That's tried and true and trusted method we've been doing since the beginning of the time. We meet each other outdoors, away from our habitats, so to speak. All right. Go to farmers markets. If you don't want to grow your own vegetables, go to farmers markets. Usually, you know, Sundays and things like that. I know there's a lot of them here in North Carolina, in the immediate area of Charlotte. South Carolina, definitely on the sides of the roads. And there's plenty of information on where to find us at Google, YouTube, things of that nature. Let's go outside. Find something to do outside by yourself, other than an event, with a crew of people. You know what I mean? Try it. What do you got to lose? What you've been doing? Has it been working? Has it worked? Okay, so what you got to lose? Try it. Maybe V's right. Maybe V trying to help us. Maybe V's trying to help us. Right? I mean, how many streams have I done where I've given you ladies advice, actionable advice, and things you can actually do, not theory, stuff you can actually put to use immediately? Quite a bit, I would say. I would say quite a bit. Put the mouse down, turn off the screen. It ain't working. I mean, we get addicted to this stuff. I mean, we were so used to doing it. And I was thinking back to a time where we weren't attached to these devices. Leave your phone in the car, you know, and don't leave it in direct heat now. Put it in the glove box or, wherever, in your pocketbook, in the trunk when you go for your walk or whatever. But I know a city like Charlotte, Charlotte is a very walkable city, plenty of places to go. Plenty of places to go and things to see, got a lot of waterfront properties here, by the lakes, paths and trails you can walk, parks near those, it's a lot. People don't even realize how much of that is in Charlotte because they really don't know the city. They've been living here a few years, several years. They don't really explore the city, and so much of it has changed because they built and developed so much. Take the train from one end to the other, get off, see stop somewhere, see a couple of things. Hey, what's on the south side? What's on the north side, depending on where you live? What's on South End? Beautiful park in South End. What is it? Trying to think the name of that park. It's a block over from East West Boulevard. What is it? Bearden? I think it's Bearden Park. Beautiful park. Nice park right in Dilworth neighborhood. I mean, very walkable from the train, just nice little place. You can even park your car down there. Just drive down there and park. Great parking. Walk around the park, swings, people playing basketball and other things, people grilling out. Nice neighborhood, where you can just walk. It's things to do, things to see. Just get out. Get out. Get out. So, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to encourage, this summer change in behavior. Again, you're not gonna find nobody. We know the dating apps suck, right? We know that. They've been destroyed, they've been ruined. They're not the same dating apps from 20 years ago. And yes, dating apps have been around since the 90s, people. I'm just saying 20. I mean, I probably go back further than that, but 20 years would be '04. They were definitely dating apps back then. I could think of a few off the top of my head. Those dating apps were more authentic because it wasn't bots. It was real people. Now you don't even know if you're talking to a real person now. So I would be careful with those sites. Try to get to are you a real person kind of questions right away, not the computer. You can tell because they're going to give the same computer generated answers. The profiles are going to be similar, and try to get to real conversation, with a person. Hey, would you mind exchanging phone numbers so we can talk, kind of thing? So you can find out if, you can move this forward. We don't have a lot of time to waste. And I think a lot of times we're spending so much time wasting in our latter years. I'm not talking to 20 something year olds right now and really early 30s. I mean, y'all got to watch it too, if you want to have kids and a family. But man, these dating sites, they're full of bots and 50 plus year olds right now. That's what they're full of, according to the data. I told y'all this was gonna be the year of the cougar. Cougars is out there killing them dating apps right now. So if you're looking for a cougar, then that's fine. Keep in mind the cougars is looking for young men, gentlemen. They're not looking for you old farts. These cougars is looking for young men. They ain't got time to play with y'all old. They're not looking for Bernard and Rufus. They're looking for Malik and Jamal. They're looking for Devontae. They're not looking for Mr. Jimmy. Drive the minivan with the rims. They're not looking for that guy. They've been dealing with him all their life. They're looking for something new. But a lot of times, though, moving along, we're in conversations and we try to use this terminology, this psychobabble terminology, we weaponize it. Oftentimes, especially when the men do it, they're weaponizing it to make themselves look bigger by tearing down another man, right? So I know I was in a discussion not too long ago, and I was kind of more like observing than in it. I wasn't I wasn't the main participant. It was like really two guys going back and a group of guys kind of watching or listening in, and then the weaponization came out. Oh, you're being emotional, just like on cue. They do. Femi asked that question, why do they do that? These are blue pill guys, first of all. They think they're red pill, but they're blue pill. And I asked the question, well, what emotion are you talking about? What are you saying here? Oh, he's angry. Okay. Which anger are we talking about? There are two forms of anger. Since you want to talk psychology now, there are two forms of anger. What are we talking about? Of course, it was silence. Of course, there was silence. Now, two forms of anger. There's a repressed anger and there's an assertive anger. I mean, those of you who remember psychology, in college, if any of you, took psych, we learned that way back when. At least the school I went to, that's what they taught. Assertive and repressed. And inherently, neither is good or bad in and of itself. So what are you talking about? I've heard Christians, the churchy folks, they like to, well, God, being angry is not godly. Show me the scripture. Show me the scripture that says that. Because I can show you a bunch of scriptures where God is angry. God is expressing emotion. The prophets were expressing emotion. So what are we talking about? We're not being emotionally intelligent isn't being void of emotion. And I think that's the weaponization. That's what they're trying to say. You know, if you express any emotion, you're emotional. Thus, something must be wrong with you. Thus, you must be void of emotion to avoid being called that. So you should be a friggin' Vulcan. We should walk around like Spock. That what we should do? Is that what we should do? Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting to me. And it's not healthy. I mean, repressing your anger, that is not a good thing. That could lead to all kind of issues, mental and physical. Here's what the definition of emotional intelligence is. Again, and I'm gonna let you read it for yourselves. You know, it's not the state of being emotionless. It's actually knowing how to use and manage your emotions, not avoiding having emotions. Okay. And again, like I said, we use words incorrectly. And that's an update definition, by the way, as you can see at the bottom. That was this year. It was this year. Mhm. But it's not, again, you need to be emotionally intelligent because you said something they didn't like. Think of the culture today, the woke culture. They have a problem. Anybody challenging what they believe and think, right? So then they go to these tactics, the shame, insult, guilt need to be right tactics. Men and women are doing this, and it's ugly. And they do passive aggressive stuff, which is emotional, by the way. I don't want to, I'm going to be disingenuous, which is emotional. I'm going to be disingenuous in conversation. Gotcha moments, aha moments, and tit for tat moments. You can't have honest conversation because it wasn't started that way to begin with. It was they didn't enter the conversation or discussion to grow, to learn, to have fruitful dialogue. Because I want to prove I'm better than somebody, you know. That's a way of them working out their repressed anger. And wherever that may come from, we often call it trauma. That's another one of those words. Repressed anger is trauma, right? From whoever it came from, mommy, daddy, your Uncle Bubba, whoever, whatever caused it, you know. And we're not being honest about it with our own issues. You know, that's why the Bible says examine yourself. Examine yourself to make sure you be in the faith. Examine yourself. And that's something we struggle with as people. We don't like to examine ourselves. We like to examine other people and try to find fault in other people. Again, what did grandma say? When you point the finger, you have how many pointing back at you? 3. Right? And sometimes just being who you are, you're a threat to their belief system. because you're operating outside of what they believe or what they have convinced themselves to believe. So when you operate outside of the normies, as Coach Greg Adam calls it, shout out to Coach. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Notorious CGN. The normies, when you operate outside of what's become normal today, something's wrong with you. Where things that used to be simple and normal have become so foreign and alien, it's astounding. Again, asking somebody, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Let's go have lunch, see if we let's get to know each other a little bit, see if we want to go further. That's a problem. I've given that advice, and I've had other men contradict me. No, don't say that. Really? Really? What's more simple than just sitting down? And I don't even drink coffee, but I mean, coffee places sell other drinks, tea, whatever you drink. It's not meant to be taken that literal. They got these bubble tea places, and hell, summer is coming. Get some ice cream. Hey, you want to get a scoop of ice cream? Got places to get ice cream. Hell, you can get ice cream at a friggin' McDonald's. Let's go to McDonald's, get a scoop of ice cream, get a sundae. When last time you had a sundae at McDonald's? Damn, I ain't been a kid, man. Forgot McDonald's sells sundae. You know, it's a simple thing. Just to make an initial connection with somebody. That's all you're trying to do. Is there something here? You know? I don't know. Maybe you at McDonald's getting a scoop of ice cream and you notice the person, their ears is shaped funny or some shit. And you just can't live with it. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Or, you know, you had a great time with this person eating ice cream and you found out that you both like caramel and fudge to mix together on your Sundays. And, you know, he's the only other person in the world that you've ever seen do that other than yourself. And that's something you got in common that you could go from there. Hey, what else do we have in common? Now you like this person more. Hey, man, this guy's interesting. This guy's got some good conversation. Or this guy listens very well. You know, whatever tickles your fancy, you know, whatever that thing is. But you got to experience these things in person. Remember, 70% of communication is nonverbal. You know, these things that you just observe in chemistry kind of things. You gotta be in it. As I say, you have to put your chips on the table. And that's what a lot of times today, we're not putting our chips on the table. We want guaranteed results. We don't want to invest nothing. Minimum investment, maximum returns. We don't want to make ourselves vulnerable. We want escape plans. You know, like a relationship is an escape room, and you're constantly, subconsciously trying to figure out how to get out. And then you wonder why you can never stay in a relationship, because you're constantly trying to figure a way out on a subconscious level. And you're giving off these cues, these nonverbal cues that you may not even have intended to do. You know? And we all do it. But I mean, this is about training not to do it, not to give off those cues by being available to a person. If you enter a relationship planning the exit, you're, as women like to use, manifesting the end of the relationship. That's what you're doing. You know, we heard a woman say this recently. Her father taught her to do this. I personally don't believe that. I find it unlikely that a baby boomer father or a silent generation father would be teaching his daughter feminist ideas. Is it possible? Sure. Unlikely. I mean, we know based on our history, these ideas typically come from women. So now the mom saying that or aunt saying that would be more likely than a dad of those generations. Unlikely. Now, I always told my daughters to protect themselves. So, for example, I would tell my daughter, you know, if you're going out with a guy, make sure you have money. You know, I always told Imagine to do that when she started dating. Why, Dad? He's gonna take care of everything. I know. Here go $50. Put it in your pocket. Just put it in your pocket. Here go $100. Put that in your pocket, just in case. But it's not an escape plan. It's not an escape plan. You know, my grandmother always would say that a woman should always have a nice piece of jewelry in case of an emergency, in case she ever had to pawn it to get some cash fast for whatever reason, right? My grandmother, silent generation, big believer in that, you know. Um, and she had a lot of forward thinking ideas. She believed a woman should always own land, have a piece of land. She believed that. All of her sisters did. And now all of her daughters did as well. But she wasn't saying this so that way the woman could have leverage over a man. She was saying this so you could bring something to your relationship. So when your husband got in the jam, you gotta pawn your necklace to get y'all out of the jam. That was her thinking. Her thinking wasn't to run away and escape the man, right? The land was to help build legacy, you know, in case your husband didn't have land. Now, if he had land too, then it was all good, you know. But just in case. My grandfather lived on my grandmother's father's land. That land we got down in South Carolina comes from my grandmother's father, Roland McKay. All right. Unfortunately, my grandfather got cut out of the land, and on his family side, I mean, there were 13 of them, and they all had kids. It was a mess. I mean, it was a mess. My grandma said, "Don't worry about that. Let them have that. We got these 4 acres over here. We got these 16 acres over here to work with. You know, we're good. We are good, right?" So that idea of the escape plan, that's a modern concept, and a lot of times people use those sayings. My mama said this, my daddy said that. It's a defense mechanism. So that way you can't challenge what they're saying. They want to be able to say something freely, which is their beliefs, and then hide it behind my mama said. Even though that would be totally out of characteristic of the generations. It would be totally opposite the group norm. Unlikely, totally unlikely. And we have no way of verifying it either. Is your dad still alive? I would love bring him on. Let's talk. I was thinking that recently when I was down at the hospital talking to my stepfather. Unfortunately, he had tubes in his throat when I was there, so I couldn't do it. But we was having a good conversation, and we were talking about, the 1960s, what it was like in certain places. He would be considered silent generation. He was borderline baby boomer silent generation. He was like right on the line, He'll be 80 years old this year. He's a lot older than my mom. So yeah, but we like to hide behind stuff, and again, disingenuous, and you can tell because certain people, certain types of people, that's always their go-to argument to introduce information from a source you can't verify. So it's kind of trust me, take my word for it kind of thing. And they do that all the time. Where does that work in the real world? It don't work in school nowhere. You can't do that in court. You can't say, Your Honor, trust me. My mama said it was true. No, you're going to need to provide a citation, or it's what? Conjecture. Can't do it in school. You got to have a citation. I mean, that's not even anecdotal because it's third party anecdotal at best. But we do that. And we rely, and that's where the emotional intelligence comes in. Same kind of thing. I'm going to say a word. I know you really don't know what it means because I don't know what the hell it means. Most people don't know what it means in the argument, as the definition is up there. So wait a minute. I was told, I thought I wasn't supposed to have emotions. Who said that? When did that become a thing? Do y'all not go back and look at the music in our culture? Wasn't men expressing themselves emotionally to women throughout this whole time? It don't mean they were simping. It means they were just expressing themselves emotionally. There's nothing wrong with that. And women loved it. I guess that's why we don't have no R&B today, right? There ain't no more rhythm and blues. Interesting, right? Interesting. It's 11:40 Eastern Standard Time. We're coming up close to midnight. On the People's Podcast here in the QC, here in Charlotte, here in North Carolina, here on the Eastern Seaboard. Welcome to the People's Podcast. I am your host, V-Ben Israel, the People's Champ. They call me the People's Champ because I can say the things you can't say, but you want to say, but you're going to get attacked. I take the attacks for you. I take them for you. Somewhere along the lines, we think the majority, because the majority, you got a crowd of people, the mob siding with you, you're in the right. It's usually the minority that's right, or the individual who goes against the grain, sticks to their guns. It's usually the exceptional, the elite is what run this world, not the majority, the elite. But people, it's comfortable for them to be normies. It's very comfortable and safe. They can hide their insecurities. Nobody's going to look at them, make them think they're uncomfortable. Why are they looking at me like that? Do they see what I do, or do they see my thoughts? They can see I'm lying. I don't have those problems, You know, and I'm called a bully, angry, aggressive. No, I'm confident, intelligent, assertive. CIA, as Kevin defined it. I don't need y'all to validate me. I'm self-validating. I have accomplishments. I got a resume that validates me. I got a track record of success that validates me. Many of y'all are just y'all late bloomers. You behind. You behind your peers. You're not where your peers are, let alone where I've been when I was your age. You're behind. It's a thing called group norms. That's how we know this. It ain't my opinion. This is what the group has done consistently over time, generation after generation. And some of y'all are just behind and you hate it. You hate to examine yourselves. And that's why you don't do nothing about it. Now y'all found a space on the internet where y'all can click up and validate each other because you got the same worthless abilities and you've done nothing with your lives. You've never been exceptional. You've never been above average. You don't have any accomplishments. And then what y'all try to make out to be an accomplishment ain't an accomplishment. I'm sorry, you know. The military takes damn near everybody. It's not an accomplishment. Now, if you make a career out of it, that's an accomplishment. But just the fact that you went into the Army or the Marines or the Navy or the Air Force, it's not an accomplishment in and of itself. It's like, I got a job. Just getting a job is not an accomplishment. What did you do on that job? How long did you maintain that job? Where did you rank on that job compared to other people doing a similar job? Were you the best on your job? Were you among the best? Some of you can't answer these questions because you're scared to compete. You're scared to put your chips on the table. No investment, no reward. Y'all think you just, and this is the prosperity gospel. When that came into effect, it just spread to other aspects of our community. Y'all think everything is a magic lamp and you can make wishes. And somebody's going to come grant your wish. Doesn't work that way. Gotta put in the work. But I mean, we watch y'all, a lot of you, and the question comes is how can they broadcast 8 hours a day, all day, every day? Shouldn't they be working? They're healthy. Right? How do they have the time to do that? Unless you got a job, you're working nights. That would be the exception. And some people who, you know, you work in a hospital or a medical field, you work weird hours. I get it. You may have some time. But then my question would be, you got to sleep sometime. So the people I know who are doing that, you know, they might jump on for a little while. Hey man, I got to get off here and get some sleep, you know. But the other cats, they just nonstop 8 hours a day, nothing but garbage. Recycling content over and over. You know. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to take a swig of tea. Swig of the pure leaf. We become lazy. We become very lazy people. And we don't have community anymore. You know, we really don't. We use that word very loosely, but we don't have a community. Our demographic is actually operating outside of the norm of every other demographic on the planet. Doing things totally ass backwards. Totally. Totally ass backwards. Again, we want to meet people, but we don't go outside. Backwards. We don't have social groups anymore, not really. I was asking somebody the other night. I was up at my daughter's house and a couple of their friends stopped by. Nobody knew how to play spades, but one of the girls knew how to play spades, but the other three didn't. I'm like, really? Like, that was just a thing growing up. Like, you just, like, I'm osmosis learned that information. Like, everybody just knew how to play spades where I was from. That was like playing Uno or playing checkers or backgammon. I mean, hell, I can't even remember how to play backgammon. I knew I used to play it a lot when I was a kid. I couldn't play backgammon today, but those were things that we all just did. I mean, Monopoly. Like, who didn't grow up playing Monopoly? Social things you did with groups. It was a group. Even though you were competing against other people, you were still participating in a group. Did things together, social functions, cookouts. I mean, I know my grandparents, man, we used to throw some cookouts. And we used to go to other people's cookouts. I talk a lot about my Aunt Jean and my Uncle John, man. They used to throw some mean cookouts over there in Queens, man. We would go over there. That was the thing. Everybody showed up with the big cooler. That was just, you know what to do it. Go into a cookout, get the cooler ready. Me and Grandpa go get some ice from the liquor store. Back then, that was like one of the few places you could just get bags and bags of ice. And so we go to the liquor store, get the doggone ice, put the cooler in. 2 coolers we had, one with meat, one with sodas, and load those in the trunk, and we headed off. And everybody that showed up had a cooler, had a big, long cooler. I saw one in Walmart recently. It was a throwback. The only difference is they added wheels to it. I said, damn, this is a throwback, but they added wheels. That's perfect. It's like $100 cooler. I was like, man, damn. Damn, that's nice. But the way you build communities, you got to start at the foundation. And Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this, the 5 levels. You got to, as man and woman, you got to start there. At best, we have neighborhoods. So, as he says, we don't even have neighborhoods anymore. We just got hoods. We got rid of our neighbors and we just have hoods. A lot of people don't even know their neighbors. When I was living in Concord, the girl across the hall, Tangie didn't know her, but I knew her. I would see her all the time. I would speak to her. Hey, how you doing? Tangie was like, who is that? I'm like, we seen her in the parking lot. And I waved, hey, how you doing today? And she said, hey, V, how you doing? And Tangie was like, how you know her? I said, that's our neighbor. What you mean our neighbor? The one lived right across the hall. Like, Tangie got in the house 11 o'clock at night. She went to work. She had to be to work at she had a weird schedule, like 3 to 11. So she left at like 2 something in the afternoon, didn't get home to 11 o'clock. So I used to tell her, like, same thing, go outside, exercise. Like, what she wanted to lose weight, walk around the parking lot. There's a group of girls that do it every day. Why don't you start by doing it on your days off? Meet your neighbors. Unfortunately, everybody's not going to be saved. That's what the Bible teaches us. Not religion, not Christianity, not churchiness. The Bible tells us everybody ain't going to be saved. So, unfortunately, things are going to get worse. I'm here to try to wake up a couple of people because I know that's all at best that's going to happen. That's why I don't really worry about mass numbers. My message is not for everybody. Never has been. Go back and look at my content. I've been saying the same thing for decades, you know, for a decade, at least in social media. I even said it in my first book, Negative Acceleration. Everybody can't be saved. Everybody won't be saved. It's going to get worse. Again, when you take away Gen X and above, the marital rates for Black women are 1 in 10. That's extinction level event for Black women as we know them. And wiping themselves out. Black men can always make babies and make Black babies with other groups of people. But Black American women are wiping themselves out. I don't want to see that. I wish there was a way to save it, but prophecy is prophecy. It is what it is, and it hasn't failed yet. But there are good women out here, fellas. I don't believe going to another country is the answer. As I've stated many a time, most of y'all not ready. You haven't been cross town. You talking about going cross country. The problem isn't the women. The problem is you fellas, and y'all proved me right over and over and over again. You proved me right. It doesn't mean ladies don't have problems. Everybody got problems. You're not in a relationship until you overcome a problem. That's what it's about. 2 is better than 1. I don't know why you ladies think you're gonna fix it by yourself, and you're gonna get your stuff together, and then a man is gonna want you. What use is he? What use? Men want to be useful. They want to be appreciated. They want to have somebody be grateful for them. How can that be if everything is already fine? Everything is already done. If I'm a chef, I want somebody to cook for. But if every time I show up, you got a 5-course dinner laid out, what good am I? I'm like, I show up with my chef hat on and my knobs, and here I am, and oh, wow, that's an impressive 5-course layout. Wow. You know, what am I doing here? That's how men feel. That's how men feel. Or think. Maybe that's a better word. Emotional intelligence. Empathy. That's what a lot of people lack. You're so concerned about your own feelings and your own sensibilities and your own thoughts. That's why you're confused when you deal with other people. You can't put yourself in that other person's shoes. That's emotional. And that's why I disagree that women are more emotionally intelligent than men. I disagree with that. Women have a very difficult time separating their emotions in dealing with men and putting themselves in the men's shoes. It's very difficult. That's not emotional intelligence. That's just they're emotional. They express their emotions. That is just being able to, having your emotions blah, all over the place like the Tasmanian devil is not being emotionally intelligent. And it's not conducive to a good relationship. Because if you can't manage and control your emotions where you're just governed by them and you're just so self-absorbed, you're draining. It's always about you. and never anybody else. It's always about how you feel, how you see it. Somebody's trying to do something to you. You're jealous of me. You're angry at me. You tried to hurt me. Some people be like, what are you talking about? That's not emotionally intelligent. Yeah. I hope that makes some sense. I'm not going to beat this one to death. It's not going to be a long stream. At least I never planned it to be. It kind of happens. Um, we're 3 minutes before the hour. If anybody has any questions, I'll do some one-on-ones. Anybody wants to come up, I'll turn the seatbelt light off, and I'll let anybody come up and understand this is a serious conversation, genuine questions. That's what I'm looking for over here. I'm trying to get back to business over here. Serious questions, people. Oh my God. I don't know where I got these sniffles from. I don't know where they came from. I think it's the pollen or something. Because I don't sniffle as much on rain days, I've noticed, but it happens every now and then with me. I'll drop the link. I'm doing one-on-ones. I'm not doing a panel. I'm really about sick of panels. But I'll do one-on-ones. Of course, the co-host can come up anytime she sees fit. Anytime she sees fit. She don't have to ask for permission. She already has permission. She gives herself permission. I'm not sure where she's at right now. But hold on a minute. We're gonna get this going. Hold on. Anybody wants to come up is welcome to come up. One-on-one questions about emotional intelligence. And I'll extend it to relationships. This is not a free for all. This is not a smoke show. Really not trying to do the smoke tonight. I like to have a good blood pressure night. All right. So yeah, so the link is dropped. The link is dropped. Okay, I've cleared up my comments there. Okay, good. And oftentimes, I mean, putting yourself in somebody's shoes allows you to communicate better. Your better communicators can do it, you know. And it's not about agreeing with the person. It's just you can. I see where you're coming from. I don't agree with you, but I see where you're coming from, and you could try to find some type of common ground, you know. And again, that's assuming both people are being genuine from the beginning in their desire to communicate. You know, it's not a weaponized conversation or a disingenuine conversation to begin with. That's never going to work. Never going to work. But Link is in the chat. I mean, anybody wants to come up one-on-one? I'll give it a couple of minutes, and we'll close out if no questions about emotional intelligence. So what is this showing me? We aren't capable of serious conversation. We only can have drama and tofu. That's all we're capable of. Can't have serious discussion. I guess that's what we're proving. And that's why the prophecy will be true. Sadly. Oh, shit. So what time we got now? 12:03. Phew. Damn it. I need to get some fresh air, clear my nose out. Some of that night air in me. I still got that daytime air in my nose. I find it interesting. I dropped a link and everybody skedaddled. People who were watching, I had a few watchers. And as soon as I say, hey, come on up, people took off running. They took off running. That's the disingenuousness of it. But I thought I was the unreasonable one. Is that what they said? Yeah. Too funny. Too funny. Too funny. All right, y'all. It's getting late. I'm going to try to go in early tomorrow. So I really don't want to be doing a marathon anyway. But, I did turn the seatbelt light off as I said I would. And we tried to do this thing, but I guess it wasn't enough drama. So, hey, till next time, on your way out the door, please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Hit the subscribe button and smash the bell. Share it to your socials. And stay tuned. Stay tuned to the People's Podcast, y'all. I'm out.
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, what I make you? What I make you?
I will hang around and do a back chat for a little bit, if that's maybe more what's happening. So I'll give that a couple of minutes to see if anybody comes up for the back chat. So I'll stick around for a couple of minutes.
I don't have that power. I don't have that power. Me, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy.